to the program. We still have the Honorable Commissioner of Information in the House, Prince Kassim Afegbua, and we also have our brother, a friend of the House, Honorable Etilosa here, but also in the House. Honorable Commissioner, time on the fast track, but there is a burning issue in Edo State that we also want you to at least bring us to speed about, which is the MOWA matter. Now, something happened recently that was not too pleasant to the international communities. Can you just enlighten the people about the issues around this MOWA thing?
Well, I don't know the aspect you want to know, but from available records, you know, in government custody, whether you call it a MOWA or MOWA, depending on what side of the divide you are, there are certain fundamental flaws that necessitated the ongoing rancor and dispute over ownership, location, intention, and other ancillary factors. One, the issue of museum started from October 20th, 2018, 2 years into Obasanjo's administration and 2 years into Omonoba Nedo's ascension to the throne of his forefathers. When he was celebrating birthday, Governor Obasanjo was present and told the entire audience, very quality audience, where you have Yakubu Gowon, you have Goodluck Jonathan, former president, you have Sultan of Sokoto, there were a lot of traditional rulers and all across the country, before everybody, a national audience, that he was going to, is in discussion with the Benin Dialogue Group in Netherlands, that he just arrived, and that he was going to build a museum, a befitting museum, as a befitting birthday present to the Oba of Benin. And that 3 years was earmarked for the building and completion of that particular museum. That elicited excitement, celebration, and commendation from the monarchy. 30 years down the line, within that, they set up what they called Legacy Restoration Trust. From Legacy Restoration Trust to drive that particular project, it metamorphosed into a Edo Museum of West African Arts. The Omonoba's son was involved, and some other persons. Of course, Obasanjo brought one of his former staffer at AfriInvest by name Philip Iheanacho, who was in charge of the London office of AfriInvest, to head the operations. And that also snowballed into a number of activities. One, they demolished the Central Hospital right at the heart of the palace ground in close to Kanswa Center, demolished the mortuary. That hospital is without mortuary as we speak, the specialist hospital that is there now, and shifted everything to Stella Obasanjo, that they were going to expand on Obasanjo, and ceded over, is it 6 acres or hectares of plots to a MOWA or a MOWA, as the case may be. Now, the 3 years set aside to building the museum, in between, artifacts started coming based on Omonoba's consultations with people and his own brother Agatise, reaching out to Norway, Sweden, Italy, UK, Germany, Netherlands, and started talking about the issue of returning Benin artifacts. The German returned 1,200 of those artifacts, stolen, you know, like petty thieves in 1897 when they invaded the kingdom. In fact, seeking reparation alone would have taken so much billions of dollars and euros, because it was wrong for them to have invaded the palace and made away with their very cherished artifacts. Netherlands brought 119 of those artifacts, and they were also bringing money alongside with it, but this money never got to the palace. So Obaseki got interested, and all of a sudden, midstream, they decided to change the name of MOWA and said that the use of Edo in that name was constricting or limiting their scope. They needed to make it Museum of West African Arts. Certain fundamentals must be established. It is a purely a private thing now. They are calling it institute. If it was an institute, they would have registered it by an act of parliament. The Edo Assembly must must put it in record, because you can't just set up an institute without having parliamentary backing. There has to be a bill that will pass into law. Records are private at CAC show that it's a private enterprise that is guaranteed by trust. And the names of those who are supposed to be the drivers are there. Those state government was listed, Kianacho was listed, and all that. They submitted memos to ESCO under Obaseki that to build the pavilion of that museum would cost 4.1 billion, based on submissions from their quantity surveyor. Edo State paid 3.8 billion of that money in different tranches, 600 million, 800 million, 1 billion, just in that order, summing up to 3.8 billion. Now, along the line, they removed the Oba of Benin's son's name from everything that has to do with that. Now brought in some of their friends to add up the figure. Oba was promised a museum. Oba was not seen in 2 years, 3 years, beyond 3 years. It was now a matter of Oba even fighting to retain ownership of the artifacts that were returned. Oba had to approach the late former President Buhari, who graciously gave him letter recognizing him as the sole ownership of those artifacts because they were taken from the palace at Bidisho, and also gazetted that decision of ownership alongside with the National Museum of Monuments and Arts. Those artifacts were housed somewhere in Ring Road at that building within the Ring Road. One was thinking that Obaseki government would renovate and beautify the Obakenzo Cultural Center, which was actually the location of the Benin invasion of 1897. The palace land expanded up to Ezoti, down to that central hospital, and all of that. That was not the problem. But that location of the Obakenzo Cultural Center was important. Obaseki locked it up. It was under lock and key for 3 years, taken over by rodents and rats. The utility value of that place was crippled because they wanted to promote their own museum. I was watching one of their loyalists, Christopher Ojekere, say that Obaseki released 500 million to the palace to build this thing. That was not the promise on October 20, 2018. At any rate, if 4.1 billion will build the pavilion, you can't give 500 million to the palace to build his own museum. So, but now that the conversation has come to public light, we are getting more and more interesting revelations, which is also helping us to unravel the whole concept of MOWA and MOWA or Legacy Restoration Trust. Now, 2023, barely 9 months for them to exit power, they changed the name from Edo Museum of West Africa to MOWA. By a resolution of their own. Obaseki was the singular nominator of all the persons that were there. The Edo State government has 3.3 billion investment there. They say it has become donation. Taxpayers' money. That when the place is operational, hey, hotels will be booming. This one will be booming. Our point of disagreement, as simplistic as ABCD, The land you have taken is bearing the name of Edo Museum of West African Arts. You acquire so much land in that place, and they pay 50,000 naira for CFO.
For that vast land?
Yes.
50,000 naira?
Yes. If you want to put that land as equity contribution from Edo State government, it will be in the region of 11 to 12 billion naira because of the location and the size.
Yes.
Now, the museum renovated the first colonial office right in that palace ground, one small portable house, which was supposed to be a tourist attraction. First colonial office that's supposed to be owned by the palace, sitting on the palace ground. Because when they invaded in 1897, they set up their own colonial office. That's like a point of reference, a historical artifact. Now the museum is claiming ownership of that place. You see the contradiction. Can you discuss museum on a palace ground without the kingdom?
It's impossible.
Can you discuss culture and tradition in Edo State, whether they have 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 museums, without factoring in the palace? Where you have deceived the Oba that you were going to build a befitting palace museum for him and all that, and you renege in your promise, does that not amount to deceit and subterfuge? And our query is very simple. If you demolish the central hospital, you demolish the mortuary, everything, and you say you are going to expand Cellular Central Hospital, did you complete it? No. You have left the crisis on our hands. So it's the crisis we are battling with. What we did initially was to conscript them into a particular space. No, don't go beyond this. But now, discovering that they even did a lot of digging before they erected this structure, and a lot of archaeological, arts and monuments were excavated, now polished and beautified to be part of this museum. You are indirectly taking what belongs to the palace to your private business in the name of museum. So the ownership of that place should rightly go to Omonoba Nedu Ukwu Apolopolo Oba Eware II, Oba of Benin, because he resonates, epitomizes, and represents the collective aspiration with respect to culture and tradition and cultural heritage of Edo State, and even the homogeneity of all of us. Because in Edo they say Edo Opamahi, we are one. If you mention Benin Kingdom, what comes to your mind is history of old.
History.
That one, what comes to your mind is artifacts. What comes to your mind is invasion. If this is a way to do reparations for the disturbance of the Portuguese explorers and what have you in that century, you should naturally accord respect and recognition to the palace. That is what Senator Monday Okpebolo is trying to correct. We have no apologies to render to Governor Baseki and his lieutenants who are gallivanting all over the world and thinking that they are making a point, who are saying they are saying meet and greet people in the diaspora. The real people you should meet and greet are captured in the local government, because they were the voters who voted him in office in 2020 and 2016. I believe you. So when you run away from your responsibility at home and you think you can seek honor abroad, you are making a mistake. At best, it's a fugitive to the law. And we are saying that you don't need to carry a narration of propaganda, whipping up sentiments of, oh, we embarrassed the ambassadors, they came, and people changed the man, and all of that. Who cares about neo-colonialism? We are disturbed. Another aspect of decorating our artifacts for Onyibos to come and be looking. What's the meaning of that? Onyibo people, they respect due process. They respect transparency. If Edo State government has invested 3.8 billion into a project, we deserve the right of first refusal. We deserve it. It is not Governor Obasanjo's money. It was Edo State taxpayers' money. And we need to account for that money. We are not Father Christmas that donates money to charity organizations. If we want to donate, we know how to donate. 3.8 billion will give us at least 50 primary healthcare centers across the state, if not more. So what are we talking about? You have to look at the cost effectiveness of projects and the plausibility of your policy framework so that we know which one will benefit the people more. The governor was asking, when you demolish Central Hospital, people need to be well for them to visit the museum. But the place where they will take them, where they will treat them, you demolish it for a museum. Is it not the man who is well that can think that will come and look at it first? We've since met with the ambassadors. We told them our position. They understood. The money that came after those had put 3.8 billion down, that money will be probed into by this thing. Well, we're going to report to EFCC and Interpol. So the Obasanjo must be held accountable. All the noise is making about talking about terrorism. People must try to terrorism. Who is he talking about? Who is he talking to? He thinks we are fools? Or he thinks the number of noise, the quality of noise is making over there will make us to change our mind from what we are saying? First thing first, when you want to build a house, it must be firmly rooted on solid foundation.
Yes, sir.
Once there are infractions, abuses, profligacy and what have you, we have cause to raise questions because our 3.8 billion is there, including the land that should naturally form an equity. Now you take it from Edo Museum of West Africa should have been the selling point. You convert it to a private enterprise called the Museum of West African Arts. Where? They will say Benin City. What is wrong with Edo? Edo is known all over the world. Benin City is known all over the world. It was an empire that was solid. And we have, a very solid monarch. The monarch that do a consummate diplomat, suave, very lovable, well traveled, well educated. He told the ambassadors, he said, well, I was your colleague some years ago. Ambassador in Sweden, Norway, Italy, Rome, Vatican, so many places. They say I call him that recognition and that respect. You can't come and fool the Oba by a promise before the whole wide world and you are going into the closet to unravel him, to just try to expose his nakedness. If as a Benin son, you do not accord respect to the Oba of Benin, who are you going to accord respect to? People respect your father based on the respect you, the children, give to him. An outsider will not come and respect your father more than you. It is the respect you show. The kind of disrespect that Governor Obasanjo has shown to the monarchy of Benin Kingdom, trying to balkanize the kingdom ab initio, trying to disrespect the monarchy, trying to even reduce the monarchy, is what we are trying to restore. It is not an accident of history that Pakomisa, the governor of Edo State, that name also derives from a Benin history.
Yeah, true.
The Oba explained it.
100.
It's like an indomitable lion. We are going to ensure that the right things are done. The unfortunate incident that happened on the 9th of November, on a Sunday, 9 a.m., was quite unfortunate. And we have since explained to the ambassadors that came that were, told to vacate the premises because of the crisis of that ownership. And they understood perfectly because they came on a caustic call. Look at the gambit. They set a preview on a Sunday 9 a.m. when people will be in church.
Yeah.
Edo State, that is a prime contributor, so to speak, 3.8 billion into a project, was not invited for a preview. But you could do a preview and invite your foreign friends. So what is now our stake? They told us that they were going to open that museum on November 11. That was what we were looking forward to. On Sunday, quiet morning, when we were all sleeping and some people were in the church, the governor was in Auchi, attending a Catholic church event. It was later in the afternoon when he opened his phone that he was getting calls and all of that. But he ensured that those people's was secured, told the police commissioner, please go there, make sure nobody is harmed and all that. So when you are discussing culture and tradition in Benin, and you are talking about museum and archaeological findings, the Omonoba Nedukwa Kolokolo should be your first point of call. That is how we learned it in history.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, thank you very much for your time. And Matisa, thank you very much for your time. Time have been fast spent, so I think this is how we're going to wrap up the program.
I just wanted to quickly add something.
Okay.
The commissioner spoke on the interface on the Edo Museum and all the problems that has engaged with the process to date. And he mentioned from 2018. That is the aspect of Obaseki being the government and the interface with the palace. But Professor Sadolo, who advised them not to sign that document, that would have taken away his rights. We were in a meeting when he said that the artifact and museum conversation started in 2006 by the father of the Oba, which is Eredia. So it has been a long issue over so many years before the formation of Obaseki's government. Just to add to what he has said, that it's not a yesterday's thing, and I think the people should wake up and stand solidly behind Mona so that and support the government of Okpaiolo with the commissioner doing a fantastic job, so that we can put this to an end and stop the fifth colonies from infiltrating us in the future.
Wow. Thank you very much, Honorable Tiosa, and thank you, Honorable Commissioner. It's been an enlightening session, and we're really glad having you on this podcast. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Let me also commend the organizers that they are doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Informing the public is our business.
Of course.
Stating the facts is also part of our business.
Yeah.
We are not driven by propaganda. We are not driven by Obubuyaya infrastructure. They will tell you that they build a skyscraper somewhere. When you get there, you won't see. They told us they were going to build Benin Park. We didn't see it today. So we will continue to engage the public, with the best, finest tradition of openness, transparency, and accountability. We may not have provided all the answers to the nagging developmental issues confronting the state, but to say that we are not making attempts is to miss the point. So we plead with the people to please recognize that we are making a lot of impact. They can see it. We are not selling fluke to them. In the final analysis, we will be able to celebrate together, because when that road, that flyover is open, I'm going to put a meter. Any opposition person who climbs it, it will ring.
And what would the meter be called? Is it a Mako meter?
No, we will put Akpaku recorder.
What our people usually say, they will tell you, why build a flyover bridge, or what benefit is it?
Yes.
Let me tell you the benefits. A flyover bridge helps you carry traffic. It helps you avoid gridlocks. So if, say, a parent is traveling from work to get home at 5 p.m. in the evening, and he can get there at 5 p.m. When there's gridlock, the mother or the daddy may
The
get home
congestion
at
of
10
traffic
p.m. in the evening, which means they don't spend enough time with the
So we'll have a Akpaku recorder, odometer.
So
We'll put it there. When any opposition person carries man to boo, we go back,
You will not know that the opposition
the opposition just passed.
So we want to really say thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
really wonderful having you.
Thank
and
you.
Brad.
Thank
And it
you.
was really, an exciting session.
Yeah, thank you very
you
much.
for all
and
the
you guys should be
exposition
more
here.
of investigative journalism.
Okay,
You
Thank
should
you.
do more of that. Don't
Okay,
just sit
thank
back
you.
at your comfort
Okay.
and then throw questions at
Okay.
us. Because me and him, we've been fighting for so long. For 8 years, I resented
So
Obaseki.
as the fight ended.
Yes, I helped Obaseki to come. I spent my money, but I also fought it for 8 years.
Please don't start another program.
Very good, man.
We still have some other.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. Cheers.